There's a strange thing that happens to almost everyone. You can spend hours reading about self-improvement. You can highlight pages, save videos, make detailed plans. You can even feel genuinely inspired. And still, when the moment comes to actually do the hard thing, something inside you quietly steps on the brakes. Not dramatically, not with panic, just a soft, stubborn preference for staying exactly where you are. Most of us call this lack of motivation. Some call it fear. But the deeper reason is simpler and older than we like to admit. Your brain was never designed to help you become your best self. It was designed to keep you alive in a world that was far more dangerous than the one we live in now. For most of human history, the unfamiliar was rarely a gift. It was a risk. A new path could lead to predators. A new food could be poisonous. A new group of people could mean conflict. So the brain learned a very effective strategy. Prefer the known. Protect the familiar. Treat comfort as a signal of safety. That strategy worked extraordinarily well for survival. The problem is, the same wiring is still running the show today, long after the original dangers have disappeared. This is why growth so often feels heavier than it should. When you try to start something new, your brain doesn't carefully calculate the long-term benefits. It simply notices the absence of certainty and reacts the way it always has, by pulling you back toward what already feels safe. Comfort doesn't need to argue with you. It just feels better in the moment. And the brain is heavily biased toward what feels better right now. There's an irony in this. The very system that once protected your ancestors is now the same system that keeps many people living smaller lives than they are capable of. You can see it in the way people stay in jobs they've outgrown, in the way they avoid difficult conversations for years, in the way they keep promising themselves that next month will be different. It's not that they don't want more. It's that their brain still ranks emotional safety higher than potential growth. The good news is that this preference is not permanent. The brain is constantly updating its map of what is safe and what isn't. Every time you stay inside comfort, you reinforce the old map. Every time you step slightly beyond it and survive the discomfort, you give the brain new data. You don't need to leap into extreme challenges. What actually changes the wiring is repeated, manageable exposure to the unfamiliar. One honest conversation, one skill practiced while still feeling awkward, one decision made before you feel completely ready. Over time, the feeling of discomfort begins to lose its authority. It stops being interpreted as danger and starts being recognized as the normal cost of expansion. The people who grow the most are rarely the ones who feel the least resistance. They are the ones who stopped treating resistance as a stop sign. Comfort will always be available. It will always feel easier in the short term. But ease and expansion rarely live in the same place. The real question isn't whether your brain prefers comfort. Of course it does. The more useful question is whether you're willing to keep choosing the slightly harder path often enough for your brain to update its definition of safety. Because in the end, the life you want is almost never located inside the life you already know. If this resonated with you, I'd like to know, what's one area of your life where comfort has been winning for too long? Share it in the comments if you feel comfortable doing so. And if you want more conversations like this about how the mind actually works, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.